You will be so amazed that more than 80% of people in the whole wide world have been in some kind of toxic relationship or the other. I haven't really done a survey, but I can say that with all confidence and certainty that that is correct. If you are new to my channel, you're so welcome. And if you are my old subscribers, you're so welcome back. So guys, in today's video, I am gonna tell you how to stop being in a toxic relationship. Yep, you heard me right. How to stop. We have to try to put an end to being in a toxic relationship. I would really like us, to think about it. What is a toxic relationship? Who gets involved in a toxic relationship? And how to stop it? So first things first, what is a toxic relationship? A toxic relationship is a negative relationship. What is a negative relationship then? A negative relationship is a bad relationship. It is a relationship where you watching or I talking over here, you may be in a dysfunctional relationship, a relationship where you are exploited, either emotionally, financially, materially, and all whatnot. You can even be exploited spiritually in a relationship. It can be a mentor-mentee relationship. It can be financial relationship and all whatnot. When we're talking about a toxic relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean that, it's just your significant other. Although we will be talking about a toxic relationship with your significant other, I want you to know that there are so many toxic and dysfunctional relationships out here. You see many spiritual heads and spiritual leaders misleading and ill-treating people. In some cases, they'll tell you, oh, God said this, but God didn't say that. That is a toxic relationship. You will see people who, maybe because that's my mom or your dad and all of that, you see a mother or a father maybe having sex with his children and stuff like that. That is a toxic relationship. You may have your co-worker, your bosses and stuff, and they will tell you, oh, you better have sex with me before I can give you a job. And this job never happens when it's not a mutual, concern. That is a toxic relationship. If you keep that relationship moving and flowing to your detriment, know that toxic relationships can be detrimental to you physically, emotionally, spiritually. And you should know by now that I am a believer and I stand for you. If you don't have a balance in life, either emotionally, physically, spiritually, then you will not be able to go through life. You will not be able to appreciate the beauty of life. So guys, now that we know what a toxic relationship is, so who can get involved in a toxic relationship? I want you to know that a toxic relationship, you may get into one knowingly or unknowingly. So anybody can get involved in a toxic relationship. Just anybody. From the beginning or when it's just starting out, you may never know that it's a toxic relationship until when things start to unfold and stuff like that. Then you will realize that this relationship or this person that I'm keeping by me is not good for me. Briefly, I'm going to tell you what really causes toxic relationships. Briefly, we're not talking about that today. I may do a separate video to better expatiate on that. But I want you to know that the first cause of a toxic relationship is people's environment. Some people, they may be growing up, in a toxic place, and they may think that, wow, maybe just because maybe mom is being beaten by dad, that is the right thing to do. Some people may be growing up, maybe someone molested them, and they may think that that is right, or someone was so mean to them and stuff. They grow up, get involved in toxic relationships, thinking that, oh, that's right. Maybe because they were traumatized and stuff like that, they start acting accordingly in life, thinking that's the right thing to do. So that is one of the reasons, why people do that. Sometimes when you hang around bad people, like I said in one of my videos, that bad company corrupts good one. You may be around bad or negative things or negative people, and you may find yourself doing, what they do or what they are doing that is bad. You may be around friends, maybe just because maybe they are killing, stealing, doing a lot of armed robberies and stuff. I may think that that's the right thing to do. I may end up doing that same thing, thinking that, oh, that's right. But that's because I have been in a toxic relationship with somebody who is doing that, and I think that is correct. So I think it's okay for me to just do that. So guys, right now we all know that being in a toxic relationship can either stem from, our childhood, how we grew up, that's our environment, the people we hang out with, and all of that. I want you to know that this is not an all or nothing rule. A lot of people out there are not a product of their environment. Just because you grew up in a divorced home or a polygamous home or in a toxic environment, it doesn't mean that you are like those people. I'm just pointing some stuff out to you so that you know that those things can cause a toxic relationship. Like I said, it's not an all or nothing rule. No. Some people, like, the saying goes, there are always exceptions to everything. So somebody, you watching me, you could be an exception to that. So now this takes us to our video of today. How do you stop a toxic relationship? If you are watching me right now, I want us to know that I'm going to leave every other form of relationship, either a mentor-mentee relationship or a spiritual head malfunction or ill-treated relationship or whatever it is. I would just talk about it, you watching or me talking over here. If we are in a toxic relationship with our significant other, how to stop that. So the video of today is for that purpose. How do we really stop this toxic relationship that you may be in? If you are already in one, let me give you pointers. The first thing is, maybe they may be treating you so bad, you may always come back to them, he or she may be beating you, exploiting you financially, emotionally, they may be beating you and all of that. Sometimes abuse is not just about hitting. Sometimes it's about the emotional thing and trauma that it caused you to go through. Financially, they may be controlling your money and everything that you're doing and your sales. They may be a freak or control freak when it comes to maybe your phone and your possession and even your body as a person. So if you are in one, how do you really stop it? The first thing that I'm going to tell you is seek help. You could tell somebody. There are people out there, organizations, NGOs, you have the police and all of that. You can call them and tell them, hey, I need help in one way or the other. So that is the first one, simple. All of us know, about that. The next thing is that you should look and watch for repetitive patterns. Before you even get into a relationship, what do you do to stop abuse, to stop some kind of things that you are not okay with? The very first thing is watch for repetitive patterns. Normally, before you date someone, most people always ask, oh, maybe about your past, about your ex. Sometimes you can even gather information, when you are just hanging out with them. How do they treat people? How do they treat their parents? How do they treat their loved ones, the people they associate themselves with? You will definitely get an information of some sort. And with that, you'll be able to know if this person is an abuser. Trust me, it's not in all circumstances. One thing that you need to do after, just watching them, studying their habits, how they talk to people, what their beliefs are, sometimes you can have an open conversation with them and they will truly tell you what they think or who they are and what they are about. The next thing you should do to stop an abusive relationship is that you have to be patient with people. It can either be you could be an abuser yourself, or you could be the victim. So if you are about to get into a relationship, you have to make sure that you are patient with somebody. Sometimes we are not patient. Nobody is perfect. You watching, you are not perfect. Neither am I perfect. But if we all can be patient to one another, like, let some things slide sometimes, like, okay, listen to them, ask, why did you do this, blah, 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 or why did you react the way you did react? Somebody would definitely give you an explanation why they did the way they did. Some people are not patient at all. If you are not patient, trust me, it's going to be so hard for you to be in a relationship, because you will never be patient. You will always be out there trying to do something. Most people who are not patient may end up either abusing you, maybe verbally, physically, and stuff, because you are not patient. When something arises, you just get angry. You're not working on your anger. You realize that, hey, you're always getting angry, you hit stuff, you destroy stuff. Somebody may get mad and start abusing you, even financially. Will say, oh, okay, because she did this, can you do this, that. When you send the money or whatever, they are not accountable for that. Check for their accountability, check for their anger management, what they do when they are angry and all of that. Because if you know what this person is capable of doing, you will be able to stop any form of abuse coming towards you. You are not obliged to date anybody or to be in a relationship with anybody who comes to you or approaches you for a relationship. You are entitled to make your own decisions. The next thing is to have boundaries. I'm a believer of boundaries. Sometimes setting boundaries for yourself and others around you is so important. Having boundaries is very important, like I said. A lot of people may not know this, but boundaries stem or may range from the most little thing to the biggest thing. It could be from where you put your toothbrush to how you cook and if you clean up after yourself or not, or how to sit in the car, how you eat at table, how you manage your finances, how you actually take care and what career path you are going to. Imagine, you want to be a medical doctor and your husband, for example, doesn't want you maybe going to school and being so busy. Maybe he wants you to sit at home. But it has always been your dream, but you really want to be this medical doctor or a medical examiner or practitioner and all of that, or medical practitioner. So he doesn't want you to do that. He wants you to stay at home. So what is your business? Having a relationship with somebody who is not even going to compromise for you to go do something that really makes you happy. He wants you to stay at home. He wants you not to go anywhere, to be home, take care of the kids, and maybe he's not even going to do anything himself and not push you to be a better version of yourself, and maybe you guys live off of government assistance and all of that. Nobody does anything. That is it. What business do you have with that kind of a person who doesn't want you to go after your dreams? Maybe you want to learn a craft, but your partner doesn't want you to do that. Why are you even going to start a relationship with that kind of a person, knowing very well that he will never change? Do not be deceived. Do not get into a relationship if your partner tells you that, hey babe, let's just do this, or I'm gonna change and all of that, or you say, oh, I'll just tell your friends, oh, I'm just gonna date him, if we marry, I'm gonna change him. Hey sis, that's not gonna work. He's never gonna change. If he says that he doesn't want you to go to medical school and he's serious about that, adamant to change, do not waste your time. If you really want to go to medical school, trust me, go to medical school without him, because if you start a relationship with him or if you marry him and you guys eventually start having kids and all of that, you are not going to medical school. And that is one of the stressors of an abusive relationship, because you already knew from the beginning what he was about, what his beliefs were. And just because you couldn't believe it, let me put it in quotes, you couldn't believe it, now you are in an abusive relationship because you just didn't want to do what your heart told you to, or what your mind was telling you to. So you must set boundaries. Set boundaries. Tell them, hey, when you say this, when you do this, I am not comfortable with it. It could be as little as him talking smack or talking or disrespecting you in public, calling you maybe the B word, calling you some kind of names. Hey, I don't like when you do this. You shouldn't do that. That. Set the boundary when it's still early. Because when you do not trust me, you cannot stop that relationship. When he keeps calling you the B word, it's definitely gonna be too late, because he will always do that to you, disrespect you and stuff like that. So guys, another thing that can help you to stop an abusive relationship is unforgiveness. Sometimes most of us in the world, we go through a lot of heartaches and troubles, and we end up being in a very bad shape and all of that. So much so that when we start a new relationship, we carry unforgiveness from the past and bring it to our present relationships. And at the end of the day, everything is upside down, everything is a mess, everything is chaotic, everything is like catastrophic, and it's just a whole lot going on. Hey guys, I'm here to tell you, if you don't learn to forgive, your relationship will always be toxic. It will always be dysfunctional. Maybe you were in a relationship and maybe your ex used to hit you. Just because you are now in a new one and he never hits you, maybe you always be like, oh, maybe you're gonna hit me, like always pushing some negative words and thoughts towards his mind. Or you are with a lady and you're always like, oh, my ex cheated on me, so, oh, you probably a cheat, you cheat on me, you're sleeping around with other men. Just because you keep pushing them to the world, one day they will eventually, or they may do what you said, they do, of which they do not even do that. So they may start doing it, and before you know it, you see a lot of people fighting starts going on verbally, physically, emotionally, all kinds of abuse and stuff like that. So guys, in today's video, if you haven't learned anything, I want you to know that before you start a relationship, make sure you have set your boundaries. Make sure you know your gang, the people you associate with. Because if you associate with toxic people, the probability that you may be toxic yourself, is very high. Please be safe out there, stay safe. And this video is dedicated to all the beautiful ladies, all the amazing men and women out there. You may be in a toxic relationship. There is help for you out there. You can call, get help. Some churches may even offer counseling and help for you. If you are single, enjoy it while it lasts, because you have to look at these pointers. Make sure that you're not going to get into any relationship that is dysfunctional. Do not mistaken being in a godly, respectful relationship to being in a dysfunctional, verbally attacking and abusive relationship, guys. Until next time, this is Bella. It's always a pleasure having you around.